डेमोक्रेसी नहीं, भारत मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी भी है।
Rahul nudges foreign powers, faces music. Big focus on Newstrack.
Presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Growing Legacies. Co-presented by Century Ply, आग से बचाए.
Co-presented by
Macho Hind, बड़े आराम से. Co-powered by Sera, this is your space, play it your way. Co-powered by Aditya Birla Sun Life Insurance, इससे जरूरी कुछ भी नहीं. Presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Growing Legacies. Co-presented by Century Ply, आग से बचाए.
Co-presented by
Macho Hind, बड़े आराम से. Co-powered by Sera, this is your space, play it your way. Co-powered by Aditya Birla Sun Life Insurance, इससे जरूरी कुछ भी नहीं.
Evening and welcome. You're watching the Newstrack. I'm Rahul Kanwal. Does Rahul Gandhi need to apologize for his comments seeking foreign intervention in India's domestic affairs? That's my top focus on the Newstrack tonight.
How would you react if something, a structure 3.5 times Europe suddenly went non-democratic?
Team Modi unites for counter-attack. Parliament erupts in fury at Rahul.
भारत की गरिमा पर, भारत की प्रतिष्ठा पर होने का जोश पहुंचाने की कोशिश की।
Big blowback of Rahul's UK attack. Rahul's foreign hand, self-goal explodes. Upman politics overwhelms Parliament.
उन्होंने यहाँ के सेना की माफी मांगनी चाहिए, सदन में आके प्रेस की, जुडिशरी की, भारत में जो लोकतंत्र चल रहा है उस पर उनके प्रहार की माफी मांगनी चाहिए.
Modi triggers return fire at Rahul.
भारत सिर्फ लार्जेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी नहीं, भारत मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी भी है.
Rahul nudges foreign powers, faces music. Big focus on Newstrack.
We have a power-packed show lined up as the second part of the budget session gets started. Lots of political fury in Parliament. We look at that and more. Here's a look at the headlines I'm tracking tonight. Outrage in Parliament over Rahul Gandhi's remarks in the UK that Indian democracy is dead. The ruling BJP terms this an insult to India and calls for the Congress leader to apologize. History made at the Oscars. Natu Natu from the popular Telugu film RRR selected as the best original song at the 95th Academy Awards. A double delight. India earns a second Oscar for The Elephant Whisperers, which won in the category of Best Documentary Short Film. The Supreme Court refers same-sex marriage plea to a 5-judge constitution bench. The government calls the institution of marriage a policy matter requiring a serious discussion. The US government has stepped in to bail out depositors of the failed Silicon Valley Bank. US President Biden guarantees them access to all their cash from Monday. Team Modi has launched a massive counter-attack against Rahul Gandhi's remarks in the United Kingdom. Union ministers have demanded an apology from the Congress MP inside Parliament. The opposition, though, is up in arms. This a day after Prime Minister Modi criticised Rahul for questioning India's democracy in London. Here's a report on the political fireworks in Parliament.
The so-called defenders of democracy, which are the United States, European countries, seem to just be oblivious.
भारत सिर्फ लार्जेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी नहीं, भारत मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी भी है.
Rahul Gandhi opens a new flashpoint.
How would you react if something, a structure 3.5 times Europe suddenly went non-democratic? Right? That's happened already.
ये दुर्भाग्य है कि लंदन में ही भारत के लोकतंत्र पर सवाल उठाने का काम किया गया.
The Congress leader's remarks about Indian democracy in the United Kingdom turned into a new point of friction between him and the ruling BJP. Back home, in Parliament, the second leg of the budget session got off with calls from the government benches for Rahul Gandhi's apology. The BJP accused him of insulting India abroad.
राहुल गांधी ने लंदन में जाकर भारत को बदनाम करने की कोशिश की है और कहा है कि भारत में लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्था पूरी तरह से तहस-नहस हो रही है और विदेशी ताकतों को आकर यहाँ पर भारत के लोकतंत्र को बचाना चाहिए कि भारत की गरिमा पर, भारत की प्रतिष्ठा पर उन्होंने गहरी चोट पहुंचाने की कोशिश की है.
पूरे देश ने देखा कि विदेशी धरती पर जाकर विपक्ष के नेता ने किस प्रकार से पूरे भारतवासियों के ऊपर चोट लगाई है. मैं समझता हूँ पूरे देश और हर भारतवासी का उन्होंने माफी मांगनी चाहिए.
The Congress hit back. Party President Mallikarjun Kharge sought to turn the tables on the Modi government. With several opposition leaders flanking him, the Congress chief alleged the BJP has indeed placed Indian democracy under threat.
डेमोक्रेसी को आप डिस्ट्रॉय कर रहे हैं, संविधान के धज्जे उड़ा दे रहे हैं और सब एजेंसी को हाथ में लेके हर अपोजिशन पार्टी को दबाने का, कुचलने का, सप्रेस करने की बात आप कर रहे हैं. और ये ऐसा है, चोर उल्टा कोतवाल उड़ा.
Meanwhile, the Aam Aadmi Party and the BRS staged a protest, accusing the BJP government of misusing central agencies against opposition leaders.
करके गुजरना पड़ेगा.
राजनीतिक कारणों के चलते एजेंसियों को मुख्य विपक्षी नेता जो हैं उन पर छोड़ा जा रहा है. ये जो एक नीति भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार की चल रही है, जिसके तहत सेंट्रल इन्वेस्टिगेटिव एजेंसीज का दुरुपयोग हो रहा है, उस विषय पे हम चर्चा चाहते हैं सदन में.
A raging controversy on the state of democracy in the world's largest democracy in Parliament and outside. Bureau Report, India Today.
Over the last several sessions of Parliament, each time we saw the opposition on the offensive, gunning for the government on some issue or the other. This time it is the government that's gunning for Rahul Gandhi, demanding an apology. Must Rahul Gandhi apologize? Is this an attempt by the government to put the opposition on the back foot? To talk about this and more, joining me on this broadcast, Syed Nasir Hussain, Member of Parliament, National Spokesperson of the Congress, works very closely with the new Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge. With us also is Guru Prakash Paswan, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Yogendra Yadav joins us, leading political analyst, founding member of the Swaraj Abhiyan and the Jan Kisan Andolan. Rajat Sethi is a political analyst and Rahul Srivastav is India Today's National Affairs Editor. I want to start by asking Yogendra Yadav his view on the question of whether Rahul Gandhi needs to apologize. The government would have otherwise been on the back foot on the issue of the Adani group and the various charges on the Hindenburg issue. The government very smartly using Rahul Gandhi's comments in Europe to counter-attack the opposition. Do you believe, Dr. Yadav, that there is reason for Rahul Gandhi to have to apologize, because that's something the government is demanding and they're not allowing for Parliament to function in the absence of that?
Rahul, your question itself contains half the answer. The government is on the back foot. There is the Adani scam, the biggest scam in the country, and I dare say in the world right now. The whole world is watching India. There is the question of what's happening to opposition leaders. There's a Hindenburg report and everything else. And when you are on the back foot, what do? Manufacture attack, manufacture hurt, manufacture outrage. This is exactly the game that's being played.
Guru Prakash Paswan, do you want to respond to Yogendra Yadav's opening comments that this is an effort to counter-attack? Otherwise, the second session of the budget second part of the budget session would have started. The opposition would have been gunning for the government. Therefore, the government smartly, in a political context, is using Rahul Gandhi's comments to counter-attack the Congress and put the Congress and the opposition on the defensive.
Yes, Rahul, I was listening to the observations made by Mr. Yogendra Yadav, and he said that the whole world is watching us. Definitely, when we are presiding over G20, when on the initiative of Honorable Prime Minister, the International Year of Millets is being celebrated by the United Nations, we are chairing the SCO as well. So definitely the world is watching us when we are the 5th largest economy of the world. But we have to understand a couple of things. What is Mr. Rahul Gandhi's idea of democracy? We have to accept it. For the first time in the history of our country, for the first time in the history of our democracy, we have a woman from the Adivasi community as the President of India. This is the most inclusive democracy in the history of our democracy. The Prime Minister comes from an extremely backward class community. More than 60% of the Union Council of Ministries comprising of SCs, STs, OBCs. This is definitely by far the most inclusive and diverse cabinet India has ever seen. But Mr. Rahul Gandhi's idea of democracy is something really different. It is about him. It is about his family. It is about his feudalism, which is the idea of democracy of Mr. Rahul Gandhi. By insulting, by questioning the democracy, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has questioned the wisdom of 1.3 billion people
Syed
of India.
Nasir Hussain,
he need to give clarification.
In Tripura,
he need to apologize for
in
that.
Nagaland and in Meghalaya, the Congress party got hammered at the hustings. You won Himachal. In a direct fight with the BJP, you have a decent chance in your state of Karnataka. In Gujarat, you were smashed by the BJP. Democracy isn't dead. The Congress party may have its existential challenges, but democracy in India at this moment certainly isn't dead. The BJP demanding this apology, does this put the Congress on the defensive instead of being on the offensive against the government? In the second part of in the budget session, you are now having to explain and defend Rahul Gandhi's comments abroad, which a lot of people in the Congress, when I speak to them, are not very comfortable or fully in agreement with.
Rahul, 2 points in this. One, your own statement accepts that the government was on the back foot, government is still on the back foot. That is exactly the reason why they are raising this issue. This is for the first time, at least I have seen in my 5 years of stay in Rajya Sabha, that the treasury bunches is up in arms and they have disrupted both the houses. This is never seen before. Point number 2. See, Rahul Gandhi ji never said that democracy is dead. Rahul Gandhi ji said that the Indian democracy is under attack. It is definitely under attack.
No, he said much more than it is under attack. He says if it goes dark, if democracy goes dark in a country of 1 point...
Rahul, let me finish.
Yes.
Rahul, let me finish.
Go on, sir.
Rahul, let me finish. And then let me once I come back again, let me describe how Indian democracy is under attack. Now, what is more important is the gentleman from BJP was saying that that Mr. Gandhi was insulting India and 130 crores of people. What was Mr. Modi doing in 2015 in UAE? What was he doing in Korea? What was he doing in China? What was he doing in Canada? Was he not insulting Indians? Was he not insulting the previous governments? Was he not insulting the previous prime ministers? Was he not insulting the hard-earned hard work that was done by crores of Indians to build the Indian nation? Was he not insulting that? And you have to always differentiate between an academic seminar and academic talk and to a stadium filled with people on taxpayers' money. Mr. Modi goes all abroad to all over the places across the world and curses the previous government. He went on to say कि हिंदुस्तान रहने लायक जगह नहीं थी 2014 के पहले. हिंदुस्तान में जो लोग पैदा होते थे वो अपने आप को बदनसीब मानते थे. So these were the things that were spoken by the Prime Minister.
So, once again, Nasir Hussain, the difference, sir, you're referring to Prime Minister Modi's comments in Seoul in South Korea in May 2015 or what he said in Toronto, Canada in April 2015. But the fact is he never asked for external interference. He never said US should intervene or Europe should intervene in an Indian matter. If democracy is dead, it's incumbent on opposition parties and everyone in the country to keep democracy alive. That's how you fight to keep your democracy vibrant. You don't ask Uncle Sam and Europe to come and do your job.
Nobody is asking anybody to come and do the job. What is it? What he only said was that the bigger democracies, the older democracies in this world are oblivious of what is happening. He didn't invite them to come and do anything here. The Congress party and all other opposition parties are good enough to take on Modi and BJP. It is their time. They are winning election and they know, and you all know how they are winning election.
How did you win Himachal Pradesh? So we met this morning. We were discussing the Karnataka results, Karnataka elections with Mr. Kharge. You were there. The Congress seems to think they have a good chance in Karnataka. If you win in Karnataka, how would you win? If you do win, then democracy can't be dead. The EC can't be dead. The votes can't be fixed.
Rahul,
how do you win Himachal?
Elections, Rahul.
You said that you know how they are winning elections.
See, democracy. Rahul, democracy is not just about election. Election is only one part of democratic process. What is happening in the parliament? Do you think the government is allowing the opposition to raise issues in the parliament? Do you think even 267 discussion has been allowed since 2014 till now? Do you think one short duration discussion has been allowed in Lok Sabha from 2014 till now? Was there a discussion on unemployment, on poverty, on Pegasus, on Chinese security, on Adani issue, on n number of issues that were raised by the opposition party?
Congress citing instances of BJP leaders while in opposition before 2014, saying all kinds of things about India, the way the Indian government was functioning while they were abroad. They're saying if it's kosher for Chief Minister Modi at that time and other BJP stalwarts to say this, how can you hold it against Rahul Gandhi? Why should Gandhi apologize?
Look at the content, Rahul. I think you yourself had answered this question. What was said, in what context it was said, what are the merits of that statement have all been debated in public domain. What Rahul Gandhi said was insidious. And let me, parse what he was saying. He said that democracy is a global public good. But what he was inherently implying was that since this public good is under attack, India's sovereignty should also become a public good. That, unfortunately, is where he sinned, and he must atone in the temple of our democracy, which is the parliament.
Now, one second. You say what you are. Yogendra Yadav is holding his hand up in dismay. I'm going to get him to respond.
Allow me a minute.
Okay, one second. Professor Yadav, let Rajat conclude. I'll come to you for a counter. Rajat, make your point.
Might be, jumping out of his chair, but let me give me the time that is due to me.
Yes, please.
Please understand here. Clearly, what he was trying to imply is that since it is a global good, let them come in and intervene and preserve this global good. Isn't this what colonial powers were trying to do? They were trying to say that, okay, our way of life is a global good, global public good, and to preserve that global public good, we should come in and attack countries and colonize them.
Okay, let Yogendra Yadav respond to what you're saying, because Rahul Gandhi is essentially asking, according to the BJP, for foreign interference in India's domestic affairs.
Rahul, I thought we were on a news show. I didn't know we were on a fairy tale show. So I actually wanted to ask all these BJP walas, and I'm glad Rajat has stepped in for them, because I just wanted to ask, so, okay, you are saying he invited, intervention by by global powers. And I just wanted to say, show me the quote, show me, of course. If someone goes and invites global intervention, that's a serious matter. The Jansangh did that in 1975-76. Mr. Subramaniam Swamy, who was a Jansangh MP then, actually went to the US, actually asked for, appealed for intervention from all over the world. In that context, I thought it was justified. But if Rahul Gandhi does that today, I would not find it justified. The question is, did he do that? And the answer I get is, because Rahul Gandhi says Indian democracy is a global public good, therefore it implies that he was asking this, sir. Amartya Sen says education is a global public good. Is Amartya Sen saying America should take charge of India?
Okay, let Rajat respond to that. It's a leap of faith. You're adding to Rahul Gandhi's comments things he didn't specifically say. He said Europe and the United States aren't looking at India. He's never said Washington, London, Paris, Berlin must interfere in India's affairs. He specifically hasn't said that. That's the argument that Yogendra Yadav makes. Rajat.
Well, what do you expect a leader who himself is out on bail? He's accusing the same agencies for doing their job. A person who visits foreign countries more than he visits his own constituency. A person who attends foreign parliaments more than he attends his own parliament. What credibility does he have? It is therefore the academicians and the parliamentarians that he's trying to meet to call him and question him on all these things. Instead, what is happening is that a clarion call is being made, and everybody in the audience is clapping as if they want to make a mockery of Indian democracy, which every percentage, every single vote.
Nasiru said, now he didn't specifically ask for Europe or the United States to intervene, but he's pretty much said what he had to when he says that not enough is being done. When you say not enough is being done in Europe and the United States,
Rahul,
what more do you want? You obviously want them to do something about it, which is virtually asking for interference. So he may not have asked for interference by spelling out interference, but by suggesting what he does, he is kind of asking them to intervene and do more about India's domestic affairs, which is the argument the BJP makes. Nasir Hussain.
Rahul, I'm sorry to say that this gentleman, Mr. Rajat Sethi, I thought was doing some analysis of the speech that was given by Mr. Rahul Gandhi in Cambridge. Instead of that, he is doing Rahul Gandhi bashing here, counting on his other things rather than discussing what he spoke there. Point number 2, I think what is more important is he said something about democracy being public good. For Congress party, democracy is public good not only for Indian democracy, democracy in every part of the world. We have always said that we need to support democracies in different countries. We need to support the spread of democracies and democratic spirit in every country wherever it is possible. Democracy, not only in India, democracy in every part of the world is for public good. That is what we meant.
No, but there's no argument with that. There's no argument with
that. That is our duty as opposition. That is our duty to defend democracy in our country. The democracy to defend. It is our duty to defend democracy in our country. They defend democracy in our country for the public good, not only of India, for the public good of the entire world. So what is wrong in that? What is harm in that? If somebody cannot understand academics, if somebody cannot understand academic discussion, I'm sorry to say that one can only sit here and
Guru Prakash Paswan, you're trying to turn into a binary, a more complex, layered, nuanced argument that Rahul Gandhi was making about Europe and the United States needing to say and do more. For example, in the raids against the BBC, a lot of countries look the other way, not raising questions which people in the opposition would have liked to be raised. And that's the argument that Rahul Gandhi is making. He's not asking for physical, military or any real interference. He's asking for metaphoric interference, that you need to say more when something goes wrong, or at least what he thinks is going wrong, rather than just look the other way because India is a growing market. Guru Prakash Paswan.
Rahulji, this is the perfect idea of democracy on your show. The spokesperson from the ruling party speaking on the second occasion. Just look at the time that has been given to Congress party, to Yogendra Yadav and so on and so forth. This is the idea of democracy. We listen. Dissent is the idea of democracy. Democracy is not abstract. Democracy is about institutions. The problem is precisely this. You lose an election, Election Commission integrity is compromised. You lose a verdict in Supreme Court of India is compromised. ED is compromised. CBI is compromised. While on the contrary, it was Justice R.M. Lodha in 2013 that said CBI is a caged parrot. You cannot use this argument as per your convenience. ED, CBI, Supreme Court, Election Commission of India, you are putting everything on the dog. On the other hand, Election Commission of India is on the United Nations Electoral Department when they are organizing elections. We have to understand that. And none other than the Secretary of State of United States, Anthony Blinken, when he was here in India, he said that India is a shining light when it comes to democracy. So where is the problem? I don't understand. It is purely based out of your convenience. You lose an election, you go and do this. This is problematic.
Rahul Srivastav, we saw in the first part of the budget session, there was a washout in most of the budget proceedings because of the Hindenburg-Adani issue. The opposition was hoping to raise that again. Now they're having to respond to the charges by the government. Does this mean that this second part of the session is washed out? Is this something which is being done for a couple of days and it will die down? Or does the government intend to press this through all the way through the second part of the budget session?
Rahul, I think the government has today indicated that it is prepared for the worst. And if there is going to be a sense of outrage and disruption over Hindenburg and Adani and other elements, then there is going to be a similar charge by the government. So what we can call what happened today morning, it's very interesting, Rahul. 10 o'clock, there is a meeting of top BJP leaders, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, Rajnath Singh and others. And then after that, there was a meeting of 16 political parties in the opposition. Now, signs were there in the morning that something is going to happen, with 4 MPs already protesting against Rahul Gandhi, saying that he should apologize. And a couple of ministers, when they were entering Parliament around 10:30, they were talking about how there should be an apology. Then at 11:03.33, Rajnath Singh stands up Now, Rajnath Singh stands up with the permission of the chair, and Rajnath Singh's choice is also very interesting. Remember, he's one person who is not seen as somebody very polarizing, somebody who's got antagonistic. He's said to have the best relations with the opposition in the present government as far as the top leaders are concerned. It is Rajnath Singh who stands up and attacks Rahul Gandhi and seeks an apology. Then comes the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, and in Rajya Sabha, it is Piyush Goyal. Now, that's very clear that this was an invitation to a disruption. And this invitation to a disruption means, why I say it, because usually in the morning meeting, it is decided whether the government MPs will go in with flowers or with firearms. This was decided that today they will go in with firearms. Now, it is very interesting, Rahul, that the government has to pass the budget. Now, there has been a precedence in 2018 when on the 14th of March, the budget was passed without debate. Sumitra Mahajan used bulletin and there was no debate on the finance bill. That seems to be perhaps the point that the government knows that if the opposition wants to only do Adani and Hindenburg, nothing else, then the government also says, so be it if there is disruption.
Given the circumstances at play, Yogendra Yadav, would you accept that this is actually smart political maneuvering rather than being on the defensive each time every session started, each time every day started, each time there's an adjournment and then Parliament would reconvene? The BJP is training its guns and attacking Rahul Gandhi instead. Now, Nasir Hussain and the Congress is having to explain whether he's anti-national, whether he was asking for foreign interference or not. So they've smartly turned the narrative from defense to offense.
What is smart about it, Rahul? This is old, tired and tried tactics. What Rahul Srivastava had just described to us is a perfect conspiracy to disrupt the parliament, not allow it to function. And when a ruling party decides that it would not allow the parliament to function, it succeeds. What is so smart about it? The real question that we should be asking on this show and other shows is, what is it that is truly causing some sense of shame to India? Yes, India's reputation is going down, and it is not because of what Rahul Gandhi or anyone else might say. It is going down because when the whole world knows that BBC documentary is being banned and BBC offices are being searched, they laugh at us. They laugh at our democracy. When the whole world knows Hindenburg report and knows that our share market regulators could do nothing about it because the Prime Minister's office had hinted them not to, they don't believe in our economy. When the whole world watches from satellite that China has occupied 2,000 kilometers, and this defense minister, who has the gumption to stand up in the parliament and demand apology from Rahul Gandhi, actually the country should be demanding an apology from this defense minister. That is when the world realizes that all these big fancy claims about being a great power are nothing. Yes, G2 presidency has put the spotlight on India. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Would we come out looking nice in this spotlight, or would we come out looking a poor country trying to imitate the Russian formula of destroying a democracy? That is for us what we need to see. This is what causes decline in country.
But is that a bit much? Because in Russia, Putin never loses an election. So that's a sham democracy. In Karnataka, you know well, the Congress has a half-decent chance. In Himachal, they won. Therefore, when that charge is leveled that this is a Russia-style democracy, as a political opponent, one can make that charge. But on real material assessment, that's not really true, Yogendra Yadav.
Rahul, you did not hear me clearly. I said on our way to becoming Russian-style democracy. We are very much on our way. I'm very happy to hear that you at least acknowledge that Putin is not democratic. He would not believe it. And if you expect a Russian opposition leader to come to India and say Russia is the mother and father of democracy, otherwise he would be insulting Russia, this would be a joke, isn't it? I hope you would not expect a similar joke from Rahul Gandhi in England.
I'm not going to get into an argument with you. I'd rather get Guru Prakash Paswan to respond to Yogendra Yadav's charge that India is on its way towards becoming a Russian-style democracy, which he claims is democracy in name alone, has the seeming trappings of a democracy but isn't a meaningful democracy because of institutional capture and because of resource mobilization being so heavily skewed in favor of the ruling party. Guru Prakash Paswan.
Rahul, I find it really laughable. You cannot win your own election, your deposit also gets lost, and you are speaking on behalf of the whole world. Who has given you the right to speak on the behalf of the whole world? Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese was here for a 4-day tour. Please go and read
I
about
have a
his
question
speeches.
to
Please
ask.
go and see his
Rahul, why
speeches.
did you
will come
invite
to
me
know.
on the show?
More than 150.
Why
I did
was
not
I
speak when you were
invited on the
speaking, sir.
show?
I did not
If
speak
the
when you were speaking.
qualification is
I did
that
not speak when you were
someone's
speaking, sir.
vote
Please have the
then
decency.
Rahul has to answer
Please
them.
have the decency. And I did not take your name. Chor ki dadi mein tinka. I did not even take your name, sir.
You
I
are
did not even
attacking
take your
me
name, sir. Please have the
personally, and
decency
I
to have
want
a
to
civil
understand
debate.
from Rahul.
Please have a
how much
decency.
This is okay in
This is democracy. You speak and you will not let other people speak. This is your idea of democracy. You will speak and you don't let others speak. This is your idea of democracy. Thank you for exposing yourself. Thank you so much for exposing yourself. Thank you. You don't.
Okay, one at a time. Let's not have both guests speaking over each other. Yogendra Yadav, you made a charge. Let Guru Prakash Paswan respond. I'm coming back to you for a counter. Guru Prakash.
Rahul, this is precisely their idea of democracy. Only I am going to speak. I will not listen to anyone. Thank you so much for this exposure. Person who was walking in the Bharat Jodo Yatra is claiming to be impartial and bipartisan. This is really laughable. Anthony Albanese was here. Anthony Blinken was here. Please go and read their statement. Italian Prime Minister said that PM Modi is world's most beloved leader. You have to look at it. Who has given you the right to speak on behalf of the whole world?
But Yogendra
More
Yadav
than
never claimed to be
150 countries,
bipartisan
sir.
or
More than-
apolitical.
just
He
give me
wears
10
his
seconds.
politics
Give me 10
very
seconds,
clearly on
Rahul.
his sleeves.
Rahul, give me 10 seconds. I did not complete. Rahul, give me 10 seconds, please. Rahul, give me 10 seconds,
Okay,
please.
10 seconds.
More than
When have I
more
made
than
claims of
150
being
nations.
non-partisan?
More than 150 nations. More than 150 nations were beneficiary of Vaccine Maitri scheme. They are going to speak on behalf of the whole world. Not you.
Let
are going to
Yogendra
speak on
Yadav
behalf of the
respond
whole
now.
world. Thank you so much,
Yogendra
Rahul.
Number one, Rahul, I really think you should make up your mind whether before inviting people to a panel, you should judge their votes secured. If that is the case, please don't invite me to the show. If the worth of every argument is to be judged by the votes secured, then you should have a somewhat different yardsticks for who should be invited. In that case, many BJP leaders also will not be able to come to you. Please remember what the BJP leaders' situation was in 1984. Should they have been allowed to speak thereafter? My friend says this is insulting.
Then don't speak on behalf of the whole world, sir.
Guru Prakash
Then
Paswan,
don't
now let
speak on
Yogendra
behalf
ji
of the
speak,
whole
please.
world.
Let
You don't
Yogendra,
have this
you don't give him the same courtesy that you are asking. Let him speak now.
Billions of Indians had given a verdict in 1984. Why is it that your party and people like me protested against that party? Protesting against policies, protesting against anti-democratic acts done by the Congress party in the past and being done by your party today are very much essential to democracy. And I really, really hope that when you bring out certificates from some Italian leader, some Australian leader, are you saying you are serious about certificates being given by the world about India? In which case, sir, do you want to look at the Freedom Index? Do you want to look at the democracy
Fifth largest
index?
economy,
Do you
sir.
want to look
Fifth
at
largest
all
economy.
places in the world?
Fifth largest economy. Go and read about it.
Okay, before I conclude, Nasir Hussain, very quick final words. Are you concerned that Rahul Gandhi in some ways has scored a bit of a self-goal? Rather than allowing on the back of the Bharat Jodo Yatra, which was successful, no doubt, the Congress to be on the offensive by saying what he said, which he could have well avoided, he's kind of put the opposition now, especially the Congress, on the defensive.
Yeah, Congress is definitely not on defensive. Congress will always defend Rahul Gandhi ji, and he has exactly said what he has gathered from Bharat Jodo Yatra. He has exactly said what he has seen in India for the past 8-9 years and what is happening in India. Point number one. Point number two is they are raising this issue only for the simple reason that they know that JPC Adani issue is
but you've given them the opportunity. That's the point. In the battle of narratives, Rahul Gandhi has given ammunition to the opposition, to the government.
Whatever they do, whatever they raise, we are definitely going to raise this issue. That will be the first issue on our agenda, and we will stick to JPC. Whether they give it or not give it, we'll stick to JPC.
Quick final words, Rahul Srivastava. So what happens to the rest of the parliament session? Will we see this kind of a back and forth every day till the end? Because Rahul Gandhi is not apologizing. The government now doesn't seem to want to backtrack till he apologizes.
Yes, Rahul, I think it's going to be an outrage over X, outrage versus outrage over Y. And the government has basically told the opposition that if you think by raising and disrupting over Adani and several other things, you want to run the house the way you want it, The government has said that, okay, then we are adding our own terms. And I think that lack of meeting point or coming together or any sense of resolution, I think this session is going to be extremely stormy, this remaining part. And I think very little business likely to be conducted, if and only, I think the budget will be passed. And if bills are passed, they will be only in din.
Okay, this is quite unfortunate. From the purpose that a parliament should serve, the fact that there is this back and forth, no matter what the reason, whether it's the government or the opposition, they find some reason to ensure that parliament actually gets disrupted and real issues aren't debated on the floor of the house. We will track what happens next. For the time being, Guru Prakash Paswan, Syed Nasir Hussain, Yogendra Yadav, Rajat Sethi and Rahul Srivastava for joining me on the Newstrack. Thank you very much. When I come back, I'll give you a sneak peek into the India Today conclave this Friday and Saturday. By far the biggest media event. This is the 20th year of the India Today conclave. I'll tell you what to expect. The Prime Minister will be there, the Chief Justice will be there, the Home Minister, a lot of the top cabinet ministers, a lot of the top opposition leaders, international newsmakers will be joining us at the conclave. We'll give you the full download on what you should expect this Friday and Saturday. Also, history at the Oscars as Natu Natu wins for Best Original Song. Details on the other side.
Presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Growing Legacies. Co-presented by Century Ply, आग से बचाए.
Co-presented by
Macho Hand, बड़े आराम से. Co-powered by Sera, this is your space, play it your way. Co-powered by Aditya Birla Sun Life Insurance, इससे जरूरी कुछ भी नहीं.
India Today Conclave 2023, March 17th and 18th, New Delhi. Listen to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the man behind the India moment. The unmissable 20th edition of India Today Conclave 2023.
Indian cinema has been on the front foot of late with a number of films reaching global platforms. The Elephant Whisperers have showed what it takes to be an Oscar-winning documentary short film. India's first win at this year at the Academies.
The Elephant Whisperers, Kartiki Gonzalez and Gunit Monga.
Gunit Monga was amongst the first producers.
Yes, Gunit Monga and Kartiki Gonzalez's film has won big at the Academies, and the nation is proud with these two ladies who made it happen.
I stand here today to speak for the sacred bond between us and our natural world, for the respect of indigenous communities, and empathy towards other living beings we share our space with, and finally, for coexistence. Thank you to the Academy for recognizing our film, highlighting indigenous people and animals.
The film was up against the Hall-Out, How Do You Measure a Year, the Martha Mitchell Effect, and Stranger at the Gate. The Elephant Whisperers is a documentary short film which revolves around Bomman and Belly, a couple in South India who devote their lives to caring for an orphaned baby elephant. This is the second win at the Oscars in the same category for Gunit Monga as a producer. She last won in 2019 for Period, End of Sentence. Directed by Raikaz Hitabji, it was about fighting the stigma over menstruation in rural India. Entertainment Bureau, India Today.
India Today Conclave 2023, March 17th and 18th, New Delhi. Listen to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the man behind the India moment. The unmissable 20th edition of India Today Conclave 2023. Presenting sponsor RP Sanjeev Goenka Group.
Presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Growing Legacies. Co-presented by Century Ply, आग से बचाए.
Co-presented by
Macho Hand, बड़े आराम से. Co-powered by Sera, this is your space, play it your way. Co-powered by Aditya Birla Sun Life Insurance, इससे जरूरी कुछ भी नहीं.
Welcome back. You're watching the Newstrack. Natu won and won big at the Oscars. The first Indian movie to be nominated for Best Song at the 95th Oscar Awards, competing against the likes of Rihanna, Lady Gaga. It was Natu time at the big Oscar ceremony early this morning.
All right. Are you guys ready? Ooh! RRR!
Natu won, and what an epic win it was.